Hey guys, Artosis here, bringing you some more of the Korea-China Invitational League, and this one has been pretty darn one-sided so far. In fact, completely one-sided. Mihu here in the top left leads 6-0 against Saber, former pro gamer with Hwasong Oz. He is very active right now, but having a terrible time trying to combat Mihu. Now, to be fair, Mihu plays a little bit differently. Again, maybe there might be a little bit of latency issues, but not enough to excuse that type of deficit. I think you gotta give the nod that Mihu is just playing a lot better, especially after that last game. I mean, if you didn't see the game on Butter, it was game number 6. You know, it felt to me like Saber definitely had the opportunity to win that. I think he chose a good build, and he did the beginning of it well, and then just the Defiler push just was not quite there, not quite where he needed it. But a good hold from Mihu. Now we're going into a very different map in Nemesis. Nemesis is a 4-player map. I've talked about it a lot. There's been a lot of casts of it on this channel. As you can see, as he flies over the double assimilator with eggs, makes interesting travel paths. You kill the eggs, everything you walk through. You kill the assimilator, only small units like Zealots, probes, and Zerglings are going to make it through. Kill both assimilators, literally nothing in the game makes it through. Okay, so there's these fringe bases. They also have less minerals and less gas at them. And those are at 12, 6, 3, and 9. Also, the only high ground is the stuff above the expansions. Everything else is equal terrain, including, like, this is actually a flat ramp. They did some weird graphical things here, which I disagree with. They should not make things that look like ramps, but they did. So here we are. That's not a ramp. Okay. Anyways, yeah, while the game is getting started, thank you guys for checking out ArtosisCasts. I always do appreciate it. I do read the vast majority of the comments and everything. And one thing I actually noticed people asking about was how many tiers really are there within pro gaming, within StarCraft? Like, where does everyone rank? Okay, and I'm going to give you my version of the tiers, okay? So, like... And it's the Koreans actually tier themselves as well, and you can actually read a little bit about that if you really dig, where it's like God tier, King tier, you know, so on and so forth. Like Jack tier, it's almost like a deck of cards, the way that they did it for like some of their leagues and stuff. But here, I'll give you like just a brief rundown of how I view it, right? So, because, yeah, I'm looking at this, and this is all very standard, right? Just a barracks expansion, 2 barracks, so that'll be an academy rush, and this is like a 2-hatch mute almost certainly. Anyways, so tier-wise, where does everyone rank? Okay, well, first off, there's like the absolute god of all time tier, which is Flash. Literally every other pro puts themselves well below Flash, like well below. I once asked Light in person how he could compare himself to Flash. Like, I'm like, how close are you really? And he laughed and like shook his hands, was like, no, he's God. Right? So Flash is far above everybody. Then you have like the true, like, the championship tier. It's people like Light, Snow, Best, Queen, Sulky, right? These are the guys that if they win in ASL, you're not surprised at all. If they're not in the round of 8 of ASL, you are surprised, right? Those types of players, those guys are completely a different level from the level after them, which are ASL regulars, right? ASL regulars will be more like let's say barracks, action, you know, these people that you see all the time. And people are always entering and leaving these tiers. Mong would be another good example of this, right? I obviously can't name everybody from every tier and everything, but that would be like an ASL regular, right? And then you have borderline ASL players. That would be the next tier, in my opinion, which would be players like Scan. Ruin, I think, is going in between the 2 levels right now. I think Ruin is basically becoming an ASL regular, as opposed to that borderline tier. Some other players would be like Bishop, YSC, you know, those would be like the borderline guys, where it's like they might be in the ASL season, they might not be in the ASL season. And then there's another tier that's almost exactly the same level, I would say, of players that like you're waiting for them to hit ASL. That would be a player like Mighty. He hasn't been there yet, but it's like, how much better are those other players than Mighty? Maybe not at all, right? But he just hasn't made it yet. So maybe that's the same tier, maybe that's a different tier. And then there's the tier below that where it's like, okay, trying to get to ASL. That's where I would say, like, Mihu is, for instance. He's not quite at the level where you think he could qualify at any time, but he's, like, going towards that level, right? He's approaching that level. And I think that, you know, very likely our Zerg player here, Saber, is similar to that, right? Like, maybe slightly below that, right? Like, he was a pro gamer before, but obviously he's not doing well in this particular series. Everyone knows who he is. He's a very strong Zerg. But yeah, anyways, and it just keeps going and going and going and going. There's so many different tiered play. Like, there's so much depth to this game, more than any other game, literally. Anyways, we're getting into the game, so I'll stop talking about those tiers. I hope that was somewhat educational for you guys. But yeah, this channel is mostly the borderline tier, where people are in ASL sometimes, not in ASL sometimes, and also like the ASL regular tier, right? Those are the players that I mostly focus on, but I do like to dip into top foreigners and top Chinese players as well. Anyways, the mutilous harassment has begun. This is a very, very fast factory. We can see I wasn't paying super close attention, but this is very likely going to be a tank Valkyrie push. Over here, we have the third base being taken, and he is closing it up. Also, we have a very quick hive that's going to be on the way, but we don't see an evolution chamber. So this should be a Guardian Rush, most likely. It does not have to be. He could switch it over, but it looks like a Guardian Rush to me right now. And Mihu, well, yeah, I do think... Let's see, did he make the armory? I guess he didn't. I guess he's just going to go into Vessel from here. But he got such a quick Siege Shank that I was really wondering about that. It is... Oh, see? Armory. He screwed up. Yeah, so that's a mistake from Mihu, I would say. And in fact, he just lifted the eBay. So now we have even more intel. This will be a mech switch eventually as well. Huh, that's so peculiar. Not something I expected to see. Like, the lifted eBay as well gives, like, a lot of intel if Saber goes up and sees that. Okay, so anyways, the Muta's continuing to kind of go around the edges right now. He really needs to figure out what's going on, because this does look like a timing push, but it looks like it's just going to be, like, a very extremely fast mech switch. Honestly, I've never seen anything quite like this. The eBay floating, though, screams what's happening. Okay, he actually started Flyer Carapace. He sees the armory and he starts Flyer Carapace. It feels like this is a bad read. Because the Flyer Carapace, I feel like... The thing is, you can get it against mech and it's not bad. And he already has the plus... Oh, wait, what? I thought he had +1 going on the mutas. I guess he switched it. But... Like, that would be an anti-Valkyrie thing most of the time. I think, again, if you realize that it's not for Valkyries specifically, but it's for a mech switch, then you just let your +1 go. And you can get the armor afterwards. But anyways, it's a weird situation because he saw the floating eBay, and I feel like the floating eBay, like, you never have money to make an extra eBay and float it early on. So, like, as soon as you see that, it's like, wait, he's not getting upgrades with Marines? Well, 100% it has to be a mech switch every time then. Because otherwise you just need the upgrades. The Marines don't do anything. So, maybe not reading it correctly here. Now, Siege Shank's coming out with the Vessel. Irradiate is almost done. What do we have to hold on? Okay, Lurker's being made. Consume is on the way. It wasn't any sort of Guardian Rush. It was just a very quick hive. And, you know, getting that Consume quickly is going to be very useful here as well. This one Ling has been working on here forever. Finally gets through. So that's not bad. He's going to be able to check when that third command center goes up. More mech upgrades coming here for Mihu. It's getting the speed and mines upgrades. I'm really surprised by the mech switch. Honestly, guys, I've never seen a mech switch that looked like this. Normally, you gain map control and then you mech switch. Here, he was like, well, I open bio, but I'm going mech. Very, very peculiar. But we'll see how well it works. The 3 Siege Shanks, of course, is super dangerous. 3 tanks with Siege mode. 1 shot a Lurker. So you have to be really careful about that. Pulling them back. He's stifling these Sunkens so that they aren't taking splash from each other, and you have to siege and unsiege multiple times to kill them. And with Consume done, he's not going to die. He's absolutely going to be fine here. Don't want to lose too much. Runs up and burrows. Is going to force some unsieges here. One tank goes down. The other one gets very low, but doesn't quite get it. And Mihu has to pull back. Now, I mean, here's some redeeming things about Mihu's position. He got here in a very weird way. But obviously, if you're running around with... oh, wow, he loses that vessel pretty quickly. But if you're running around with vultures and laying mines and stuff, and you have siege tanks out, obviously, like, Dark Swarm-type pushes are not going to be scary. So there's no real way for Saber to really attack Mihu right now. And Saber's just going to have to go into, like, a bit of a bigger game. He's getting Plague. He's getting Transport for Overlords. Okay, so that's going to be the plan. He's going to focus on dropping Mihu. So, not a bad choice. Like, when you're playing against Mech, Mech is a little bit hard to react to drops with. You know, that's why you see things like in Terran versus Terran, dropships can be very deadly late game. And then, of course, from Protoss, if they go mass shuttle or they go... you know, for recalls, that type of thing. Mech has a very hard time with that. By the way, it looks like Saber decides to just close up this area as opposed to open up. He was beginning to open it, but decides to close it so that no attacks can come in from Mihu. And realistically, you don't really go dropships with Mech or anything like that, so he doesn't have to worry about any other entrance. Leaves it partially alive. This is sometimes a tactic you do where you get it very low so you could close it at any time, and then you leave it in case you want to change your mind on what you want to do. I don't know which one he's going to do here. It seems like maybe he still wants to break through and try a counterattack. Let's look at Mihu's base. Still actually getting some vessels. That's interesting. Vessels plus mech. You can't really keep the vessels alive when you have mech because you don't have good anti-air against Scourge. And don't say Goliaths, because Goliaths deal so little damage to Scourge. It takes so many hits, it's insane. So the Scourge really will wreck the vessels at that point. Now, this group of army in here from Saber seems like he wants to do something aggressive. Is he just going to close this up? I'm not sure. Maybe. Okay, looks... Oh, I like this move from Mihu. He says, you know what? If you're back there with Dark Storm, I'm not dealing with this. Let's go ahead, kill this off. And he is going to go ahead and close it up. Yeah, like, he'll kill the other assimilator as well. Ooh, nice kill on that Defiler there. Oh, Muta's come in. No anti-air. It's an issue. He's making some Goliaths now, but quality Mutalist play right here. Throws down a couple of Radiates. We'll just pull those out. I mean, the Radiates will defend him for now, but Mihu's army not fully functional yet. The thing is, he's taken this base and this base during this time. So the fact that he's gone up to 4 bases against 3 from Zerg is pretty damn strong. Saber's starting to push forward with his Dark Swarm, utilizing that wonderful spell, making his stuff invincible. Forces everything back, at least for a moment. Ooh, there is an opportunity to actually kill this 4th base off. That would be huge for Mihu. Running forward. Oh, God. The Lurker leading into the mines there, unfortunately. All right, gonna run forward. Oh, a nice Plague goes down. It's always good to get rid of these Bioforces. They are kind of annoying to have around. But it feels like Mihu has some pretty serious control right now of the map, right? Like, he's got a good minefield, a good set of siege tanks. He's making it very hard for Saber to move forward at all. Like, I'm looking at this, and it doesn't look super good. Now, he has drops, and he's making Ultralings, so this move is going to be incredibly important. I don't know if he's headed towards the main, the natural, maybe the other expansions. Mihu has a lot of vision, though. He has a lot of vision right now. And actually, the Overlords fly right into the center of the map, so Mihu's going to know exactly what's going on And it looks like it's a drop onto the siege tanks in the center. Let's see how this does. Drops out those ultras. The Lings explode in a matter of seconds. Does throw down an irradiate here as well, but the reinforcing mech units seem like they should be able to mostly clean this up. 2-1 upgrade's going to do a great job for him there. And he does, in fact, kill off that army that was dropped on top of him. Now, a Defiler comes out, and he will get one Lurker burrowed here. So the one Lurker will push everything back a little bit, but it feels cost inefficient right now in a position where he can't afford to be. Really some domination coming out of Mihu at this point in the series. Like using builds that I've never seen and still able to just kind of control the game. Pretty damn good mine right there. Throws the D-Matrix down on the siege tank as well. Does not save it at the end of the day. But look, he's got these other bases up. They don't even have any defense at them other than a few missile turrets. Some Lings do run up, but I think at this point, you're figuring out as Saber just how far behind you are. Unable to really get anything going. I mean, he got up to his 3 bases, but that is about it. Never really able to get this base going. It's getting very low on health. He is doing a bit of a counterattack, so, I mean, maybe this breathes a little bit of light into his position. He does have some Defilers and Lurkers here in some Overlords, so, yeah, I could see you, maybe you pop this base as well. But even if you kill all the SCVs here, and you knock out mining here, how good is your position still? You have 1 minute of gas left there, a few minutes, like 2.5 minutes, right? So it's not a whole lot going on in Saber's position. SCV is just trying to run away from these Zerglings. Does he have a good reinforcement path? I guess he can send in through here to clean up those Zerglings. A single Ultra going in as well. That's going to be a bit more annoying, but siege tanks are coming, so should be fine. As a little group of units here to block more incoming attacks to these top right bases. Another push into the center. Doesn't look like it's going to really do all that much here. And yeah, man, this is incredibly rough. Even his mineral patches are starting to fall off. Saber, like, I guess he's cleared most of the middle, right? That huge containment we had is finally gone. But the way his units are coming out, where it's like one Ultra fights and then another Ultra fights, you can't be doing that. You have to mass up a bit more. I saw he was making a lot of Zerglings and Ultras out in his main base. So hopefully he can reinforce that a little bit and get some control. Like, look, if he can clear this area one more time, maybe hit this base and force these bases to still not mine too well, maybe we start to have some sort of comeback. But he does need to get another base as well on top of all that. Ooh, mine drag with that Ultra. The Lings and Ultras actually getting on top of a lot of these siege tanks right now. Okay, okay. See, this is the first thing he does need to do here to have a real chance in this game. Continuing to get quality upgrades as well on his Zerglings and Ultras. Now, he is being dragged into these mines and tanks, so this little outpost will end up clearing that group of units. Are these... No, nothing in there. Does drop an Ultralisk in here on top of the siege tank. Not a bad move. Not a bad move. More Lings coming up as well, so these few Vultures not going to be able to save that siege tank all that well. Saber is starting to make the game pretty dirty. Okay. I mean, this is what we want to see. He's dirtying up the game a little bit. And, I mean, Mihu still does have a bit of control, I would say. Saber taking this bottom right base. Very important base for him to get up. He needs another base so incredibly bad. It's crazy. It's like 3 Overlords with Lings mostly and some Ultra in there as well. Go ahead and clear out some of these. Oh my god, the mines are just doing so much work at the moment. Throws down defense matrices as well. Vulture's going after that bottom right base. Can he actually clear this? I don't think so with what he has. The D-Matrix is going to be a little bit too strong. Man, so many D-Matrix tanks here as well. You can actually, without the D-Matrices, he would have cleared this, I think. But that is a lot of Science Vessel energy being put to some good use. Another attack up towards the top right of this map. Mihu frantically sending over more units here to try to clean up some of these areas. 2 Lings still inside here, so that's going to be really annoying. I don't know how he clears that out. And another attack. Oh my god. If he were to clear top right, he might actually... Well, he's not getting that very crucial 4th base location, which is, you know, something that we've been talking about a lot this game. Oh, another Defiler goes down. Big group of mech going through the center of the map now. Going to help to catch some of these Lings. Going for a counterattack. Great upgrades here for Saber, but it should not end up being enough. GG is called, and Mihu extends his lead to 7-0.